Do you need a university degree to get a job as a software engineer? The short answer is no. If you have a degree, it's certainly not going to hurt. And if your degree is from a good university, you got good grades, and the degree was relevant, it's really going to help. But if it's not necessary, then what do you need? Well, work experience would probably be number one. But let's assume for the purposes of this discussion that you don't have any work experience yet. So what are things that I would look for? So if I was interviewing you, I would need to see three things. And before I tell you what they are, bear in mind that I've got around 20 years of programming experience. And during that time, I've conducted loads and loads of interviews. Okay, so the three things I'd be looking for are number one, some project work. This would ideally be a project which you've built and you've uploaded to something like GitHub, so I can review your code and get a good understanding of how you think and your level of skill. Number two would be demoing your skills in a live coding environment. So this would usually involve me giving you a fairly simple problem if you're a junior developer and asking you to solve it with code in live code. And the key thing here is not to get flustered and think you need to solve the entire problem and it needs to be perfect. I just really need to see that you can understand the requirements, ask the right questions, and start to build up a solution systematically, ideally using TDD with tests, and I can then gauge your skill level. Okay. And number three, and this one's really important, I need to see that you can communicate effectively, because in the modern work environments, work is really collaborative. A lot of work is now remote. So you need to be able to communicate effectively over, without necessarily being sat in the same room as someone. So those are my three things that I would look for. Number one, some project work on GitHub, say, for example. Number two, able to solve a reasonable problem in a live coding environment. And number three, good communication skills. Let me know in the comments below your experience of trying to get your first developer job and how the interviews went.